Hi, I'm Essie.
And I'm Elle.
Welcome back to Magic and Mayhem. Okay, hello. So we are going to try doing something a little bit different. So right now you're stuck with just Essie. Elle is not available at this moment, but we want to try something new, and she will do her own aside from me as well. We are going to try this service, as you can see right here, called What Should I Read Next? And so we're going to test this website. You put in a book title or an author that you've read and you like, and they suggest what your next read should be, obviously. And so we're going to test it and see how well it does. And so I will be finding a book to read, and then Elle will also be doing this and finding a book to read, so you get to watch both of us do it in real time. Because we don't have enough books on our TBR to read, apparently. Actually, Elle really doesn't. She reads so fast, she's already almost done. I'm getting there. So I haven't played with this that much. I heard of it on BookTube. I really can't remember who talked about it. It could have been Kayla from Books and Lala, but I could be wrong about that. It is obviously going to have to be something that we can find to read in the next week or so. That's about the time frame that we have. So I'm just going to type in, I feel like I did not have good luck doing this one. Let's say House in the Cerulean Sea. So you find the book, and then it'll recommend down here based on what you might like. So, none of these look that much like House in the Cerulean Sea to me. These are quite dark, and quite a few of them are sci-fi, which is interesting. Maybe try something else. I'll just go back. I think I've had good luck with, doing Martha Wells. So let's try that. Network Effect is her one Murderbot novel that's actually out. She has a bunch of novellas as well, but that's the one novel, and I love the novel. So, okay, Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. I have read this, obviously. It was a book club pick. Loved it. I do own this one, The Galaxy and the Ground Within. That is not the first one in the series, though. Oh, here's the first one in the series. Okay. Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. I would read that. That is actually one of my 24 and 2024 books, though, I believe. You know what? Let me check myself. Yeah, that one's in my 24 and 2024, so I don't really want to mix that in, since we're doing spins for this throughout the year. Harold the Ninth is a sequel. Song for the Wild I've already read. It is very good. Archive of Spaceborne Few, I believe, is also in that series. To Be Taught If Fortunate. I do have that one, and I don't think that's part of the series. So that's definitely a possibility, because I do already own that one. Gideon the Ninth. Part of me wants to read that, part of me doesn't, so I'm not sure on that one. Also, I don't own that one. I'd have to get it from the library and see if that's available. It'd be more interesting for me to put in one more book, and see what comes up. Let's try, okay, so we've done a sci-fi, and I did a fantasy, so maybe a romance? Let's try and put a romance in. Oh no. See, this is the problem that I have. Sometimes they can't find the book that you want, or the author that you want. I do find that a bit frustrating. Okay, we'll do that. Casey McQuiston. Good enough. Ooh, but which one? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm going to be controversial and pick One Last Stop, because I think it'll get closer to what I'd like to read. Okay, cool. Honey Girl, I actually have unhauled, so let's get that one written in the stars. I've already read it. That one was just okay for me. Oh, I've been wanting to read the Falling in Love montage. Okay, that's a possibility. Oh, I've read Let's Talk About Love, and I really love that one. I think that was in our recent December ranking video. I'm trying to find ones that I have, which is kind of why this is taking me so long. Delilah Green Doesn't Care. Loved. So we could do the Falling in Love montage. Let me see if that is at my library. My library does have that one. So, okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the Falling in Love montage by Sierra Smith. Just because I do want a quick, fast read, and it sounds really good, so, and I get to use my library that way, which is really fun. So that's the one that I'm gonna read, and I'll come back to you and let you know how accurate I felt like this recommendation was based on the information I gave it. If I have time to also read To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers, I will try and do that one as well, but I only have a week, so we'll do our best. But that's what I'm gonna read, and so now Elle's gonna pick out what she's gonna read. Okay, what would you like to search?
Okay, I'm gonna do red, white, and royal blue.
You can use the mouse.
Okay, so we have Heartstopper. Interestingly, volume 2, which I do have to read. Wayward Son, the second one. I also, in fact, plan to read that eventually. Boyfriend Material, have considered. What If It's Us, have considered. Let's see. Is that the first Heartstopper?
I think that's the fourth one.
Oh, fourth. Okay. Oh, there's volume 1.
Yeah.
I already read that one. I already read this one. So those are options. I'll decide as I go. Okay, there we go.
I don't know which one. Doesn't matter, I don't think.
Yeah, they both look the same.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. You know, I have considered some of these. Like, I've considered reading Poison Heart. I've considered in Ravenous Dark before. Haven't read them. Oh, that's funny. Very nice.
Yeah, I don't know why that's there.
I don't know. Honestly, they don't quite
It doesn't really
make
seem
sense
to match what
with this. Maybe they match the vibes. I don't know.
They don't.
Not really.
At
I
least-
was trying to help it out here, but have read this one. I read this one. Not even close to
The vibes.
the vibes.
Maybe I should try the other Thursday Murder
Yeah,
one.
I don't.
Okay, it was that one. Was
That one was the one. Yeah.
So if you click.
Why? That's interesting. Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't know what it does.
Okay, it does actually have it. Yeah.
Now you can control it.
Okay.
Oh, this Poison Heart came up again.
I've already read this one. I haven't read that. I have no idea what that is. Okay, so the other lists were not going well. So we tried this one. This one was, I think, my favorite. So we're trying this
I'm
one.
gonna try this.
So you have the Galaxy, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
have the
thought
whole
that.
series. Yeah.
And Wizard's Guide I already have read. Although this one actually has the darker shade 1. Which
you could
was
actually do the first one.
I could actually do the first one.
Yay.
Well, that one's kind of long too, but let's do this. Let's do that one.
Okay.
Since they actually have the first one, and
You
that is
actually
the one I was actually leaning towards, but the other lists, for whatever reason,
didn't give it to you.
gave me every one but the first one. So this one actually has the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's quite Murderbot feeling, but
So that's the books. We're gonna go read them now. Okay, so we have come back. We have read the books, and so we have thoughts. So starting out with the 2 books that I read. So I read The Falling in Love Montage. That one was just fine. It was okay. It was quite a bit younger leaning than I thought it would be. The whole thing of being like trying what should I read next and whether or not they give you
Accuracy.
even decent recommendations. The only similarity between the Falling in Love Montage and One Last Stop is the fact that it's sapphic. Like, that's literally the only thing they have in common.
That's the only qualifier.
So I'm like,
That's fantastic.
as far as like a recommendation, like for if you like One Last Stop, you'll like Falling in Love Montage. No, I don't think that's true necessarily, because I actually didn't really enjoy the Falling in Love Montage that much, and yeah, they didn't really have anything in common other than being sapphic. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that one. And then
So that one's kind of a fail on the recommendations side.
it was, yeah.
And the fact that it had, as you mentioned, like other than one singular topic, no correlation whatsoever.
Yeah, I was like, what? And then To Be Taught If Fortunate, I liked better. At least I liked it. I still don't see how it's like comparable to Murderbot, other than it's sci-fi.
Yeah, I've read that one too, and it's nothing like Murderbot at
No, they're
all.
very different, and I'm like, I don't like.
They're
Yeah,
in
they're both.
space.
They're both,
That's it though.
oh, and they're both novellas. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's true. They
But
are both
literally past
novellas.
that, I'm like, I don't necessarily think that if you like Murderbot, you'll like To Be Taught Fortunate. I don't.
There's 0% like
They don't-
correlation really, other than the space thing.
Again, I liked it overall, but I think it was like a good recommendation based on Murderbot? Not really. Unless you're just like, I just want another sci-fi, but even then the tones are completely different. So I don't even think necessarily that you would be like, oh yeah, these are similar.
Well, yeah, because Murderbot, even though it's about murder and that kind of thing,
Bots?
murder and bots, yeah, and sci-fi, it's still manages to keep kind of a humorous
Oh, yeah.
tone. That one
It's not humorous.
It's really not. There's
It's-
very little humor.
It's more like sad and philosophical and
Yeah, it's more
Stuff.
thought-provoking than,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's entertaining. I liked reading it, but
yeah. It's also more technical than Murderbot
Yeah.
is by quite a bit. Murderbot's pretty, I would say, like beginner friendly. Whereas I don't think To Be Taught Fortunate is super beginner friendly.
not as your first sci-fi, certainly. It's not like you can only read this if you have a degree in
Yeah, no.
astrophysics. It's not that bad, but
it is more. It's not as light sci-fi. It's a little more heavier.
so I remember having some issues finding anything.
Mm-hmm.
We tried Every Heart a Doorway. I know I tried a few others too and got almost no suggestions
Yeah.
of any kind.
I think we spent like 20 minutes looking for you.
Yeah, that's sci-fi. This is fantasy. Completely different shift.
Different
Incredibly different tonal shift.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm like, this doesn't look right.
And yeah, there's, granted, Darker Shades of Magic has some humor, but it's not nearly as humorous, I would say, as any of the Murderbot books. And yeah, just in general, I don't quite understand how it picked. Granted, I did enjoy. We will put the caveat on that I did enjoy Darker Shade of Magic, and it was one that I had already had inclinations to read. It was already on my list to read.
Mm-hmm.
So that was technically a good pick. However, jumping from a Murderbot book to Darker Shade, which is also a novella, and this is not a novella.
No, very much not.
So that's another big difference. This one's 400 pages. That other is not 400 pages.
It's like 150.
Yeah. So that also is a big shift. So I'm not quite sure where the suggestion came from. It's an interesting suggestion for, if you like this, you'll like this.
Yeah.
I don't quite see where they got it. But unless they're just like, you like murder, here you go. You like death. I don't know.
I had no idea.
Which they're not wrong. I do like books with action and violence and dark themes, and I don't know if I would say it was a success.
Yeah, I'd say I think overall we weren't super impressed.
And it was also very difficult, at least in my case, to even find a book they had any suggestions on. Because most of them had like one or two.
Or none.
Or none.
Just I feel like if I wanted to find a book like Murderbot or One Last Stop, I would just go look myself instead of asking the service like what I should read next.
Yeah, it wasn't a great success. Maybe if given some time, it might get better.
Or maybe like if you read higher up, like the first recommendation or the second recommendation, it's better. But I don't know, because the Falling in Love montage I feel like is like the third option, so it should have been. If that were the case, that one should have been a pretty good recommendation, and it wasn't.
I mean, there was a lot of recommendations that it gave me that I didn't want to read those. I knew of the book, but I did not want to read it as well.
Yeah.
So maybe if I had taken its word for it, I don't know. Maybe I should have taken its word for it. Who knows?
I don't know, because I did, and I still didn't like it. So,
Yeah, true.
because both of mine, I think, were fairly high up on the list, and they still weren't good recommendations. Not that I hated. Well, one of them I wasn't really a fan of. One of them I liked, but
If you really don't know what on earth to read next, I guess give it a try. You may get very mixed results, however.
Yeah. If you're feeling adventurous, then sure. But like,
Yeah, if you want to play book Russian roulette, then sure, go for it.
but I don't necessarily think it's a bad, like that the site is a bad idea. I think it's a good idea. I just don't know that it worked for us. So,
But that is our opinion, and there you go. Thanks for listening to Magic and Mayhem. All right, bye.